Most people think the defining moment in getting over someone is dramatic. They picture it as the day you block her number, the night you ignore her text, or the week you finally stop talking about her to your friends. But that's not it. The real turning point isn't loud. It doesn't make a scene. It happens in absolute quiet in your mind. It's the moment you stop looking back. And you don't stop because you're angry or because your pride demands it. You stop because you've reached peace. It's when the memories that used to replay on a loop simply fade. When your day no longer begins with her on your mind or ends with her shadow in your head. When she's no longer the silent background music in every decision you make. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop looking back is the exact moment she feels it. Not because you made some grand gesture, not because you set out to prove a point, but because your energy, the attention she once relied on, is no longer orbiting her world. It's back where it belongs with you. From there the shift begins, and she notices in ways you might never expect. 1. She realizes your silence isn't a tactic, it's a truth. At first, she assumes you're just doing what most men do, withdrawing to provoke a reaction, going quiet to make her curious, pulling away so she'll come closer. But time passes, and you don't return. She starts to sense that this isn't a phase or a move in some emotional chess game. It's real. Your silence isn't charged with frustration or hidden expectation. It's calm. It's final. That kind of silence doesn't shout for attention, but it echoes in her mind. And the more authentic it is, the more she hears it. 2. She feels the loss of your emotional availability. She was accustomed to having instant access to the man who cared deeply, the one who answered late-night messages without hesitation, the one who reacted to every emotional signal she sent. Now that man is gone. The emotional door is closed, not in anger, but with quiet care and intentional boundaries. You no longer feed the connection that kept her secure. She sends subtle hints, maybe even tests. A nostalgic text, a vague social media post. She might even mirror your silence to see if you'll break it, but nothing works. You're no longer chasing breadcrumbs because you've learned the cost of starving yourself for someone else's comfort. 3. She starts comparing the old you to the new you. She remembers the man who doubted himself, who reached out even when it hurt, who loved with an open hand, even if it meant bleeding. Now she sees something different. A man who is steady, self-contained, and unshakable. A man who doesn't posture or perform for approval. A man whose worth is no longer up for negotiation. The contrast creates a question that rattles around in her mind. Did I ever really know him? That question is powerful because she isn't just seeing change, she's witnessing an evolution. 4. She sees you protecting your peace at all costs. The old you would have cracked, answered one last message, reopened the door one more time, tried again to work things out. But now you've learned, if it costs your peace, it's too expensive. And that's non-negotiable. She notices this not because you've built walls, but because the door that used to swing wide open at her knock now remains closed. Not locked in bitterness, simply closed in self-respect. 5. She watches you bloom without her true. Healing doesn't always look like bold declarations. Sometimes it's just the quiet art of living well. You start finding joy in your daily routine. You laugh, not to mask the pain, but because the pain is actually gone. You begin building without factoring her into your plans. She expected you to linger near the door, waiting, to keep it cracked, just in case. Instead, you built a new door, and you walked through it without looking back. 6. She understands you no longer need her understanding. One of the biggest traps in heartbreak is the idea of closure. We think, if they just understood, I could move on. But you've discovered the truth. Freedom doesn't come from being understood, it comes from not needing to be. You stop rehearsing the final conversation in your head. You stop seeking her validation of your hurt. Your peace no longer depends on her acknowledgement. And when she senses that, when she realizes her approval is irrelevant, it shakes her. 7. She feels the silence, but it's hers. Now she might try to bridge the gap with subtle moves. A song you both loved. A post that carries an unspoken meaning. A random memory meant to spark conversation. But nothing pulls you in. You see it, and you let it pass. For the first time, she's sitting in silence that isn't yours to hold. The tension remains. But now, she's the one carrying it. 8. She realizes too late that you became the man she always wanted. This is the sharpest cut. She sees the confidence, the composure, the emotional stability, the exact traits she once wished you had. But here's the irony. You didn't become that man to win her back. You became him because pain demanded you evolve. And now that you're grounded, strong and magnetic, she recognizes what she lost. But the man you are now doesn't turn around. Brother, don't let anyone tell you healing is about revenge or making her regret losing you. That's surface level thinking. The real power is when you step so fully into your own peace that her regret, or anyone's regret, becomes irrelevant. You no longer seek closure, validation, or recognition. You live in a way where freedom is not about being noticed, but about being unbothered. Because the ultimate win isn't when she sees what she lost. It's when you stop caring whether she ever does.